you find an environment as magnificent as this, that inspires new desire within you all day, every day, and you simultaneously, as the new desire is exploding from you, are aware of where you stand in vibrational relationship to it. So you are bit by bit bringing yourself into alignment with each new idea as it comes. You begin to develop this steady, progressive path of delicious unfolding. We call it life in the vortex. But for those who don't know about the vortex or who want to call it something else, for those who aren't aware that they are vibrational beings, who don't know that the source within them is calling them eternally, as they see you living life from inside the vortex, they describe you in this way. They say, how is it that you barely seem to identify something as something that you would like to participate in, and it moves to you and you move to it? How is that so? As they observe you, they say, how is it that you are so clear-minded that a question occurs, but almost as soon as the question has been formulated within you, the answer begins to come? How is it that the answers are so fast on the heels of your questions? What is up with you, they want to know. How is it, they say, that you can barely tip your toes into something that would be remotely recognized by many others as a problem, but before you even get your feet wet, the solution begins to show itself to you? How is it you are joyful mostly? How is it that you are fun everywhere you go? How is it that your timing is so precise? How is it that you maintain your physical vitality? How is it that you seem to move through time without decline? How is it that you remain physically focused, and yet there is something about you that seems otherworldly? And to most of them who are not ready to hear what you say about the vortex, you say to them something that is softer and simpler. You say, well, I have a philosophy of life that is serving me well. I believe in the well-being that surrounds us. I believe it is dominant. And because I believe it is dominant, I look for it. I focus upon it everywhere I look. And because I look for it, I find it. And when I find it, I focus upon it. And as I focus upon it, I practice the vibration of it until it's the only thing that can find me. I live in a world of well-being predominantly because well-being is what I look for. In fact, I have a mantra, you might say to them. Today, no matter where I'm going, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm doing it with, it is my dominant intent to look for what I'm wanting to see. Because when I look for what I'm wanting to see and find it, I practice the vibration of that. And then my world is filled with things that essentially, things that in essence are the same as that. Oh, don't get me wrong, you can say to them. I live in the world, the real world, like you. And from time to time, I see those things that I'd rather not see. But I discovered some time ago, you may tell them, that whenever I know clearly what I don't want, I know equally clearly what I do want. And I've just learned to get off of what I don't want and on to what I do want as quickly as possible. When I was really little, I could feel that when someone praised me, it felt really, really good. And in the same way, when someone criticized me, it didn't feel good at all. And I recognized even when I was little that when I praised someone else, it would most likely feel good to them. And that if I were to criticize them, it would most likely not feel good to them. But what I was startled to discover is that every time I criticize anyone else, I don't feel good either. And so I've decided that there is a power in the way I feel. I believe, you may tell them if you want, that we were born into these physical bodies for the purpose of exaggerated and blissful expansion. And as I participate with those who surround me, I know that it's true of me and all of them that we are doing exactly that. But then somewhere along my trail, I figured something else out. Not only do I want to feel good, and not only does it feel really good to feel good, But I discovered that I have unconditional control of the way I feel. That was a big step for me. Because when I discovered that through the power of my focus, I could always find something that would feel good. And that if I deliberately do focus, that I can train myself into a frequency where only good feeling things can find me. My life started getting better right away. But then I discovered that there's an even deeper law behind it. I finally figured it out. I figured it out through my own trial and error, through my own exposure of my own life to the details that surrounded me. I figured it out that when I am in a moment of appreciation, it feels like the fullness of all that I am is right there appreciating with me. As if everything in the heavens is opened up to me, and my ability to see the positive aspect of whatever I am defining becomes fuller and greater. And I also discovered that if I do find something to criticize, it's like I empty out of me. It's like I go somewhere where the larger part of me does not go. So once I got wind of that, once I started figuring out that I am in harmony with that which is source in my joy and in my love and in my praise, and I'm out of harmony in my criticism, in my anger, in my fear, I began to recognize that I was born with this guidance system, that this system within me to let me know not just how to get the most beautiful things in the world. I don't think that is really my purpose, although I don't mind getting it. I discovered that I was born with a guidance system to help me keep up with me. And I discovered that in any moment in time that I'm not keeping up with me, I can't bear it. For a long time, I thought that my negative emotion was because of something that somebody else was doing. And I cannot tell you how liberated, these are your words to them, I cannot tell you how liberated I was when I discovered that I hold the keys to my own freedom. That freedom, all that freedom is the freedom from resistance. And that resistance can only be self-applied. Other people can behave in ways that are unpleasing, but I have to look. Other people can behave in ways that don't feel good to them, but unless I give it quite a bit of my attention, I don't get hooked into it, and so it doesn't become part of my experience. Then they may say to you, well, this all sounds good. And I see that you are living a much happier than usual life. But what can I do? How can I get into a better feeling place when I have this that is bothering me and this that is a crisis and these things that have gone wrong? How can I focus upon positive things when there is so much around me that is not positive? And then you say, if you want to, well, I don't know about you, but I decided that it was just a choice that I would have to make. That I could focus upon the problems of the world and perpetuate those. Or I could focus upon the solutions of the world and perpetuate those. And beyond the perpetuation of the solution, I discovered that it feels way better to focus upon the solution than the problem. And so I do it for me, selfishly. I have to tell you, I do it for me. And then they may say to you, oh, I've heard of selfish ones like you who get yourself into a good feeling place and then will not look where it does not feel good. How is it that you can put your head in the sand and not notice what's going on in the world? And then you say, oh, I notice, because I was born to do that. I was born to sift through the details of life experience and to choose those things that feel the best to me. And so I want you to know, you can say to them, that I see plenty of things that I don't want to perpetuate, but I don't get hung up in the vibration of that anymore. I move quickly from what I don't want to a statement of what I do want. And then I do my very best to practice the vibration of what I want. A lot of my friends don't want to hang around with me anymore because when they want to complain and I don't listen with any sort of sincerity, they are annoyed sometimes they even get their feelings hurt. And then I discovered something that kept them from getting their feelings hurt. I started practicing it one by one with friend after friend, with family members, with friends, even with people that I was just meeting standing in line someplace. I began to practice this. It goes like this. So they would say, how about that? I sure don't like that. And I would say, yes, but how about this? This is much better. At which point they would say, man, are you blind? Can't you see what's going on? And so I realized that trying to point out the positive aspects to someone who's standing in the middle of negative aspects wasn't going off very well. In fact, it just annoyed them and made them determined to not be with me. So I decided I had to go underground with it for a while. I decided that I couldn't be so overt about it. I couldn't be so in their face about it. So I just practiced in my own mind. When I would hear a complaint from someone, I would write down if I could, or remember if I could, what is it that I think they really want? Because it's pretty easy to know what someone wants when they're expressing what they don't want. And then I would practice seeing them having what they wanted rather than seeing them as not having it. I began practicing seeing them as they want to be. When someone indicated to me that they were sick, I immediately began to see them as well. And I began practicing the vibration of wellness. And then one by one, as my friends would present themselves to me, not one of them was put off by my newfound vibration, because this is the way it would play out. They would say, things aren't going well for me. And I would say, you know, I heard about that, but then I remembered who you are. And I began practicing in my own mind. When I'm not with you, it's much easier, I have to tell you. I began practicing in my own mind who you really are. And I've discovered things about you that are so intoxicating that now I think about them, not because I'm trying to help you improve, but because it just simply feels so good for me to acknowledge who you really are and what you've really got going on. And this is the list I've made about you. These are the positive aspects of your life. This is who I know you truly to be. This is how I see you. This is how I know you. And this is why I love you, you see. It is our promise to you that as you begin practicing the positive aspects of circumstances and events, of governments, of other governments, of political parties, of people that you know, of family members, of your mothers and your fathers and your children, of your friends, of people that you have formerly called your enemies, as you begin to tune yourself to what this time-space reality is helping you to put in your vortex about them. You see, these aren't just people running around annoying you or pleasing you. These are people running around causing you to build a vortex version of you. They are the reason that you are expanding. And so when they are the reason that you're expanding and you look back at their trouble, now you're extra mad at them because first they caused you to expand and now they're holding you back from your expansion. What we want you to realize is that no one can hold you back. There is no assertion in this attraction-based universe. It is all attraction. And so as you begin to play with this a little bit, as you accept that you are vibrational beings first and foremost, as you acknowledge that you and everyone that you are interacting with is causing you to build this magnificent vortex of creation, and that the source within you dwells there and experiences the fullness of all that you have asked for. And as you, little by little, tune yourself to the frequency of that vibration, what you will begin to notice first is that you just feel better. The edge will just lift up off of you. Next, you'll begin to notice that wonderful ideas are flowing to you. You'll begin to notice that your memories of your past are changing, where the good memories are coming forward and the memories that were not so good fade and you can hardly remember them at all. You'll begin to notice that people around you are on your vibrational wavelength. You'll begin to notice that you're thinking something and someone right next to you, even somebody that you don't know very well, will verbalize it. And you'll look at them and feel such camaraderie, such harmony, such co-creative connectivity. You'll say to them, you may not believe this, but I was just thinking those exact thoughts. We are so on the same vibrational wavelength. And then not only will the ideas flow, but connections of all kinds will begin to appear in your experience.